Your new book is out now, Don't Burn This Country, Surviving and Thriving in Our Woke Dystopia. I feel like we are living that every single second of the day, and it keeps changing throughout the days of what the next woke thing is. Last night felt like dystopia, watching the Met Gala, and then the news leaked of the new abortion laws that could be passed. They're looking to overturn Roe versus Wade. I follow you on Twitter, so I've seen you've had a ton of tweets about this. Boy, let's start off with how bizarre this is. This story came out at 10 o'clock last night. Do you know anything about where this was leaked from? Because right now on Reddit and Twitter, people have a name. I'm not going to say it on this show because I fear a lawsuit, to be honest with you, in case I am wrong. Have you heard where this has come from on your end?
So I have seen that there is a name being tossed around. I have no idea if it's true, but I would say this. I mean, regardless of whether it's this person or it's someone else, or it came from a justice or a clerk or a hack or something else that we don't know of altogether, this person has to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Like, putting aside the specifics of Roe v. Wade, which obviously we can get into, the idea that a brief from a Supreme Court justice for a decision that has not been announced yet could be leaked, especially, I mean, it goes without saying on all upcoming decisions, but especially on abortion, which is like the freaking stick your finger in an electric socket with your hand in a bucket of water type of political moment. This is bad news. This person has got to be punished severely. Like, whatever the severest punishment for something like this is, has to happen. And yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Met Gala thing, because I'm sitting on the couch last night, end of a long day of press and stuff. I've got my tequila on the rocks. I'm watching Seinfeld. I'm flipping Twitter. I'm watching all these pictures of these Met Gala freaks in their whacked out dresses, and the picture of Hillary Clinton with the black guy in the mask on his knees, and she's flashing the white power sign. And I'm like, it's just another night. I can enjoy Seinfeld that I've seen for the 500th time and go to bed. And then next thing you know, bam, Roe v. Wade, this leak and everything else. And now all hell has broken loose today. And you're kind of seeing what happens when a certain set of people don't get what they want. They go to burn it down. And I guess that's why I titled this thing the right way.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have timed it up any better, to be honest with you. Now, as a Republican myself, that's traditionally where I vote and I live. I was not amped about this news last night. I just came back. I was at the White House Thursday and Friday for a trip. I got to speak to Congress and Senate. I can assure you, no one there knew anything about this whatsoever. When this leak happened last night, the reactions were genuine that we were seeing all around the world. No one knew anything about this as of Thursday or Friday. So this was like a real old school, like Watergate type leak where it was like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened. Now, as a Republican, the first thing I thought was, God damn it, dude. This is the one talking point that I wanted to avoid in November altogether. And why was this part of the agenda right now? I don't really understand it, but you know goddamn well that Democrats are going to use this from here until the midterms every single second of the day. What was your reaction when you read it last night?
Well, look, we've been getting, and when I say we, I mean anyone that's kind of non-woke, whether you're a full-on Republican, whether you actually call yourself a conservative, libertarian, ex-lefty, whatever, we've been getting some good wins, right? Elon Musk gets Twitter. This is a major win for us. DeSantis taking out Disney. This is a major win for us. This judge, Mizell, Tampa federal judge, female 35-year-old appointed by Trump, just gets rid of the mask mandate just like that, and everybody falls into line. We had a couple weeks. The last 3 weeks have been pretty freaking good for us. Yeah. And you're right. You're right. My reaction was very similar. It's a little hard to tell exactly where the country falls on this. You know, you hear every Democrat right now is saying the 70% of the country wants Roe v. Wade. And it's like, I don't know about that. I really don't. It's a little really hard to gauge. But the thing is that Roe v. Wade, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, as you guys know, this wasn't about abortion specifically in that that the states used to have the power over abortion. And in 1973, this ruling comes in. Now it's federal. You have to legalize it. But the thing is that the states have been making their own decisions about abortion.
Correct.
Right? So Texas has some pretty stringent laws on abortion. Florida, where I am, has 15 weeks. Now think about 15 weeks. That's 3.5 months of being pregnant. Now, that's a pretty long way into a pregnancy, and it's not that far off from a viable life. Usually right around 20, maybe 21 is when they could potentially be a viable life. But I don't think even most pro-choice people would argue that 15 weeks is not a life, although they're so bananas these days, maybe a lot of them would. But the point is that the states have all been making their own decisions related to this. So by Roe v. Wade going away, all it's going to do is kick it back to the states, and then each state is going to make its own decision. Now, there might be 2 or 3, maybe 5 states that completely outlaw abortion, completely 100% with no exceptions. I'm not even sure of that. But let's say maybe Alabama, Kentucky, maybe.
I was just going to say Alabama, Kentucky, yeah.
All right, so maybe they do with no exceptions. But I don't know. Maybe they would have some exceptions related to rape or incest or something like that. But I think what most states are going to do is exactly what Texas and Florida have done, which is say it's not going to be 100% illegal. It's going to hopefully be safe and rare with some limit on it, which is why the Florida thing of 15 weeks, even though Florida is really becoming a very red state, thanks to Ron DeSantis, they passed this thing and nobody was screaming on either side. Everybody was like, you know what? This is a pretty fair compromise. It allows some level of it, even if we don't love it, but it's not the crazy 8-month crap that the Democrats want. And everyone kind of let it happen. And by the way, that's only in the last couple of weeks. So I don't think this is as dire as everyone thinks. But I get your point, which is we've had a couple good weeks. We're on a nice little run. Man, did we just put steroids in the water of the crazy leftists? And the answer to that is, yeah, clearly.
Well, we'll see. I mean, never let a good anything go to waste in these days, whether it's a crisis or a manufactured one. To your point about the 15-week thing, so in America, abortions, 43% of them happen in the first 6 weeks, 36% in weeks 7 to 9. So that's 80% happen within 9 weeks.
Texas, by the way, is 6 weeks, not 15.
6 weeks in
Texas. Florida's
Texas is
15.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Florida's 15.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really give a shit about any of this, to be honest. I don't see how this is something that even needs to be legislated. I don't understand it, but that makes the Roe v. Wade thing potentially going down a complete non-issue. Not because of it's as you said. This isn't about the ethics or legality surrounding abortion. It's about federalism and how it's supposed to fucking work. You know what I mean? Like the 9th and 10th Amendments are very clear about these things, and I don't see how people are making these parallels now. Trying to conflate abortion with some kind of protected class of people, right? So if you listen to, what's that Mongoloid's name? The dude that fucked the Chinese spy. What's his name?
Eric Swalwell.
Yeah. That guy's like one of the biggest cunts on earth, by the way. Ugh. I mean, honestly, if he just evaporated right now, that'd be amazing. Anyways, he is one of many people on the left who are trying to use this for fun. They're using it for fundraising. That's what they're doing. But they're like, it's interracial marriage is next, and then gay marriage is going to get banned, and then fucking birth control is going to get banned. Like, no, it's not. That's not even the conversation we're having. The conversation we're having is if something is going to be a law, right, it should be passed by the legislative branch and not the fucking judicial branch, right? And if it's a law that doesn't pertain to anything in the Constitution, then is adjudicated at the state level or lower, not the federal level. The end. That's it. Right. All people are doing right now is reminding everyone how our system of government works. That's it. So it's literally that.
I basically agree with you. I mean, if this goes through, let's just say this thing is legit. It sounds like it's legit. Everyone's saying it's legit. Let's say this actually makes it fully through. So the day after, right now, you kick this all back to the states. Let's say the 5 states completely outlaw abortion. Let's say 38 states put some restrictions, and then 10 states, just rough doing math here, or 7 states basically are like anyone can get an abortion at any time. Well, you know what? You can travel state lines, and if there's a whole bunch of super rich Hollywood lefties that love abortion and they want to pay to fly or bus in what will end up being a bunch of young black girls, most likely, to get abortions in Hollywood, then they can go ahead and do that if they love abortion that much. I suspect over time, they're going to realize that the optics of busing in all these young girls to get abortions maybe doesn't look so good after a couple months of video on that. But yeah, this is not connected. Even in the brief that Alito wrote, he specifically writes that this is not connected and should not be used as precedent for any other decision. And there's huge differences in the decision-making behind Roe v. Wade than there were towards, say, the gay marriage decision of 2015.
So that's all fine in theory, everything we're talking about and what the laws are. The problem is most of America grabs onto headlines, in particular in the last 6 years. The fact that this is out there and now everybody is able to scream in one way or the other, and it gives something for the Democrats to fight for and shove into the faces of Americans, because let's face it, not all of them are as smart as the two of you guys. Most of them are dummies like me. All they're going to hear is this issue, not take the time to read about what is different between state and federal laws and everything else. And this gives them a fighting chance. It's like waking up a bear at this fucking point where it was going to be an easy victory in November. And now I don't really know what's going to happen with this.
Well, that's why the thing that you mentioned at the top about the leak is so important to figure out, because whoever did this, it's political purposes.
Correct.
It's political purposes. Likely it came from someone, probably on the left side of this thing, a clerk maybe at Sotomayor's office or someone on that side of it.
But that is what I've heard as well, by the way. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the most likely, because you gin up all the stuff that you're talking about right now.